What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you all have not heard, which is also shocking news to me, that Tia has filed for a divorce from her husband Cory after 14 years of marriage, not to mention that they did date a few years before they got married. So that's a long time, you guys. A lot of times with these celebrity couples and marriages, you can just about figure out what's going to work out and what's not going to work out. But I did not see these two splitting up anytime soon or ever, because what they depicted to the public was a good, healthy home and never put their problems out there and always displayed a strong foundation. Being that this has happened so sudden, you would sense that there is some type of betrayal between the two, but we don't know anything for sure. We haven't heard any allegations, any cheating allegations or anything like that, but we know that this is just happening all of a sudden. And even if it was something that was just lingering, something had to happen to go ahead and get the ball rolling. Because I don't know if you guys remember or not, but back in 2015, Tia seemed to be a little bit insecure about her marriage at the time when Cory was working with Keke Palmer. I don't know if anything was going on at the time to make her feel that way, but she did call out Keke Palmer for flirting with her husband, which was mistaken for an innocent comment made by Keke, just enjoying and looking up to the actor at the time they were on the same set. But through all the smiles and happy pictures, we can all see that everything is not always as it looked to be. I'm going to get into a little speculation, but let me go ahead and read this right here. Tia posted on her Instagram, "I have always been honest with my fans, and today is no different. I wanted to share that Cory and I have decided to go our separate ways. These decisions are never easy and not without sadness. We will maintain a friendship as we co-parent our beautiful children. I am grateful for all the happy times we had together and want to thank my friends, family, and fans for the love and support as we start this new chapter moving forward in our lives." And you know the fans were not only saddened but shocked, because I myself was taken aback about this news. But let's go ahead and go into how they met. Now, I heard the story about how they met about a decade back, but I'm going to go ahead and rehash some of the stuff that was said, because being a married woman myself, I like to use certain situations as a learning tool to help others and to see things in a different perspective. So right here it says that they met in an independent horror movie that they was working on together in 1999 called The Hollywood Horror. And now he said that at the time he ran into a famous twin while he was waiting at the bus stop. It says, "I was waiting at the bus stop. Tia and Tamira drove by and saw him waiting and asked to give him a ride. And he said, they gave me a ride and we were friends ever since." So it continues to say that he revealed that he was broke when he met his wife and praised his wife for her ability to see beyond the circumstances at the time. He said, "I had odd jobs. I worked at Kmart, graveyard shift, security. That's when I was just grinding, man. I met my wife during them days. She was with me. She was just coming out of Sister, but they had everything, man, and I didn't have anything. I had a studio apartment, sleeping in the corner, no furniture for almost 2 years." So he continues to say that it was what his wife saw in him. She saw an honest man who had a dream. "I just had a vision. I didn't come in selling no games," the actor explained. "I feel like a man can just hold his own and be a man. I don't have to play no games with nobody," and she respected that, and it was what it was. So just looking at some of the comments below, it says right here about 8 years ago, some of the comments were saying, "Yes, I love black men who have the mindset of a man regardless of the circumstances. Love this." Another one says, "Beautiful story. Sadly, these situations rarely happen anymore. A lot of men would have tried to use Tia and mooch off of her money instead of work hard towards their dreams." And another comment says, "They found love. I'm just wondering if it was a two-way street." Now, during the time of getting to know each other, Tia mentioned that they weren't physical. They didn't do anything for a while to make sure this was something special and this was something real. And it says that they courted each other for about a year. They didn't go on dates alone. They went with other people. And it says that it was also after a year that they had their first kiss, and she admitted that she didn't lose her virginity until she was 25. So judging by calculation, Cory was her first. Because Tia is 44 right now. They've been married for 14 years and dated for 6 years, which would make 20 years minus 44. She was 24 at the time. So all the boots started knocking when she turned 25. Now right here it says at the time Tia wasn't interested in love or dating at the time because she was juggling her career and going to school. And so she wasn't thinking about dating. She was in her early 20s. and Cory kind of convinced her of love. And she said she just decided to give him a chance after talking to her mama, because her mama sat her down and said, "Look, Tia, this guy seems really nice and you should give him a chance." And the rest was history. So we can see, for one, that Tia was very inexperienced. Cory was struggling and valued a good support system. They both was young, and these two came together not based off a typical soulmate connection, but based on an appreciation for each other of what each other had to offer at the time. And over time, of course, that grows into admiration, respect, loyalty, obligation, unconditional love, and even family to you. And so all of that is worth working on. That's why a lot of people stay together so long and then you see them get a divorce later on. Because when you think about divorce, you always think somebody's the bad one, somebody did something wrong. But it can also be that two people has grown apart, or that one person or another outgrew something, or even that two people are going in different directions that don't align with each other no more. You got to remember too that we're not the same people in our 20s as we are in our 30s, 40s, 50s, and on up. We live, we learn, and we grow. And sometimes we grow into different people. Maybe what was needed as support and experienced at the time is not something that was needed for a lifetime. Maybe it was just needed at that time, and sometimes people mistake that for love. You see that it says that she had to wait for a year, basically to convince herself. But does true love really need convincing? Most of the time, it's the men that say they just know. We are the ones that need convincing. In a related post, not just short of the post of her announcing their divorce, she wrote, "There's two things we can control in life, our attitude and our effort. And as hard as it is to accept all the things we cannot control, to let go, sometimes we have to in order to grow." And this was citing irreconcilable difference. She also added, "I'm making a commitment to love myself fiercely and unconditionally while reminding fans, you're enough. You deserve love. You deserve to be understood for who you truly are." And during the 2017 interview on OWN, it says that she said, "There is times when I'm like, wow, last year was pretty tough, but this year it's good that we stuck to it, or we continue to be there for one another, or had patience with one another and worked out whatever issues or difficulties that we were having, because the next year is a completely different year and an even better year." Cory chimed in also to say that every year seems to get better. And then she replies to him, "I fall more and more in love with him. I really do." So if you just listen to the wording and you just look at everything, you can see that Tia is missing something. She's not happy in her personal life. And she's still trying to convince herself that she is just as much in love as we appear to. Because as you can see, she says, "I fall more and more in love with him as the years go by." There's a difference in saying "I love you" and "I'm falling in love with you" as time continues, while also saying she deserves love and deserve to be understood for who you truly are. So there's things your heart tells you to do, and then there's things that you have to convince yourself to do because you think you should do it. Man and woman was put on this earth to be companions to one another, be fruitful and multiply, as well as being helpmates and supporting one another. And so if you only had just one woman and one man on this earth, regardless of the preferences, benefits, energies, and any other thing that stimulates you to attract one another, any man and woman that's heterosexual will eventually make something happen, because it's our nature. How long that lasts is determined by the rest. So there's a reason and then there's a season. But a lot of people hold on to the season and the memories. The memories are still there, but the reality is dead. And that's what I feel Tia is missing, and probably has been missing for a while now. Because if you read right here, she even said it herself. It says, "Letting go can be painful, but it won't hurt as much as holding on to an illusion." Now, all of this is being revealed after they renewed their vows in 2013, but that was also during a big time in their life when they had their son. And the things that we do together and the way that we grow together within a marriage, a lot of these things help us to come together in a special way, grow more memories, and even add a couple of more years to what could have ended sooner. having children together, going through the home buying process, supporting each other during successful moments, ups and downs, being there through trials, tribulations, death, sickness, and health. All of those things are the things that brings us closer together and can even add more years on to a loveless marriage. And when I talk about loveless, I don't mean not loving the person. I mean being in love with the person, because there's a difference. So after Tia made her post, Cory responds to that saying, acting off of emotions will cost you every time. Now we all know what that means. That means that you are letting your feelings maintain the input of your decision as opposed to analyzing and rationalizing, which a lot of men like to do. Women do act off of emotions and feelings, but that's who we are as women, and it does take a man to be understanding and balance out those emotions, which Tia has mentioned in the past that he has been good at. So I believe that they do have good communication and that there is respect there, but I don't think there's an authentic happiness there. And I know what you guys are going to say. There's no such thing as happy. There's no such thing as rainbows and flowers, and women are delusional thinking that everything's supposed to be perfect and fun and giggles. But let me elaborate more on what happiness means to a lot of people, not just women. Happiness is peace. Peace to where you don't have to go through a battle all your life. Peace is a level of participation that is accepted without a struggle. Happiness is affection and attention without having to ask for it. Being willing. Basically anything that doesn't require a struggle. Basically meaning that I am happy being at peace. Because if I have to focus on you 24/7, I can't focus on me. Happiness is about a balance of making each other feel wanted and needed. I'm just going to give you an example about myself. I remember a time where I was going to this church for 4 years straight that I hated going to. It was always mess and drama. And I did it out of support and obligation to my husband. Now, I dreaded every Sunday of these 4 years, and eventually I started driving a separate car so I can go ahead and just leave right after the service, and then eventually asking him, can we try to visit other churches and find our own church? Now, while I sacrificed going to this place that I did not want to go to for him, I didn't get the same in return. I had to go venture out and find another church on my own and go on my own. And he didn't give it a chance to even just try to see how it would be for me. Everything's pretty good now, but when we find ourselves not giving that mutual respect and compromise to each other, you start to think about all the time that you put in trying to support one person and not getting it back in return, and then resenting that person for not doing that for you. And it can go both ways. People just sometimes don't see what they're doing or how they're making a person feel, and they only call out the behavior of that person, not trying to rectify or fix what's causing the behavior. You know, people that may not be married or on the outside looking in, they might think, oh, this is just little stuff, this is small stuff. But small stuff becomes big stuff over time, because you find yourself sometimes repeating yourself over and over again. And when there's no resolution, there's frustration. And I'm talking about men and women, because when a person think they got you, they don't think they got to do no more work. It could be even very well that Tia got bored. You know, she always on TikTok and things all the time, always looking happy and joyful. She inspired me to be more joyful, so she does exude that type of energy. But like I said, she may very well have just gotten bored and just looking for something to do. That's why you see a lot of wives take on a lot of different hobbies and things, because it's better that than getting into something you don't need to do. So who knows? We'll never know. And it's good that we don't know, and that they can keep all of their private business in the home. And that's something that we need to also admire and learn from them. Just based off body language, and I could be wrong, Cory always kind of seemed to be disengaged. But then again, like I said, I don't know. That could just be his personality. He always seems that way. And I think that Tia was able to bring a lot of joy out of him, because he seemed to be a very laid-back person. But they could also be just two incompatible people. Either way it goes, marriage is hard, and when you be with someone for that long, you have to keep continuing to find ways to keep the fire burning. You can look at people in a way in the beginning as love and romance, and later on you look at them as family and like you're just roommates with this person. In this divorce season, you see it out here. People are getting divorced left and right. There's a lot of influence out here. There's a lot of stuff that's being showed that makes people think that they're missing out on things that they need to fulfill in their lives. And the devil is busy. Your mind can play tricks on you, making you think one thing and then turn around and think another thing. And so it's always a mind thing. You want to speak up good things, speak good things into existence, and keep fighting. But also at the same time, life is short, and you don't want to live a miserable life just to say that you with somebody for the rest of your life that you don't want to be with as well. So everybody knows what's good for them. And so as sad as I am that they are getting a divorce, they know what's best for them. And we just gonna continue to pray for strength and healing. You guys, if you like this video, go ahead and push the like button, comment below and let me know what you think about this, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm out.